Good morning, all of you. I welcome you all for the online course on forensic science. So, in recent times, sometimes back, I was really obsessed with this forensic science. I started to watch a lot of crime thriller movies so that I could gain more knowledge on how they solve these crimes by using the forensic department's help. So, before I enter into the subject, I am Dr. Ashok Kumar, Associate Professor working in School of Life Sciences, BS Abdur Rahman, Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, Vandalur, Chennai. So, the contents of the course. So, I'm going to talk about the first course on Introduction of Forensic Science, and the later videos I'm going to share the history, how it is evolved, and the scientific ways to solve the cases. What are the methods they use to solve cases? For each cases it is different, so we're going to see those different ways in different videos, and some case studies, how they solve each cases, how they unravel all those puzzles. And at the end of the talks, I'm going to talk about what are the career opportunities are available, and what are the colleges that offer forensic science. These are all at the last moment of the video. We're going to see a lot of videos. So based on the interactions, I'll make more videos. I'm very interested in these subjects. So if you interact with me, we can learn many things. I'm ready to explore new things in the forensic science, because this is an ocean. This is not a small thing. So we can check more cases, how they solved, and all those things, right? So before we go into the actual forensic science, I gave some crime rates in India. So I took only 3 important crimes, that is murder, rape, and kidnap. So this data was made in the period of 1953 to 2007, after independence. So we got independence at 1947. So after 6 years of independence to the recent 2007. So at the x-axis they have given the year, and the y-axis we have given the number of registered cases. So you see the cases, it goes steadily increase, especially the murder and kidnap as well as rape. The number of rape was less compared to the murder, but the murder occupied the number 1 spot. It steadily increases when the year increases. So this figure shows, see the crime which evolves year by year, it increases. So the burden of solving the cases will fall on the police, especially the police, right? So in the 1953 onwards to the 2013, in recent times, the cases was little bit decreased, maybe around maybe 2000 to 2007 the cases was little bit reduced. But still you have to solve these cases, right? You have to find out if it is a murder, means you have to find out who did the murder, what is the motive. If it is a rape, means who raped, whether the person is alive or dead. You have to find out the rapist. So similarly the kidnappist, you have to. So the second notorious crime is kidnapping. So especially kidnapping is happened for the kidnapper asks ransom money to release a girl or a boy or a kid. So you have to find out who is the kidnapper and find out what is the motive, and whether it is for money or it's for personal vengeance. So you have to solve these cases and bring back the kidnapped person alive maximum, or if he is dead, you have to find out who kidnapped and who murdered him, or whatever has happened to the victim. So you have to solve all these cases using police, right? So usually we know through the legal system, through the police system, they used to solve these cases. So I want to show you one more data. So the crimes against women, this is the recent data. So from 2010 to 2016, very recent data. This was released by National Crimes Repository Bureau. So they have given especially the crimes against women, the rape, sexual harassment, kidnapping and abduction, cruelty by husband and his relatives, molestation. So you see the number of cases, it will be huge. So these are all reported cases. You don't know the unreported cases, right? So I will come to that part a little later. So the crimes against women is increasing day by day, like the petrol price, right? So it is not an easy thing to solve these cases by police alone. So I have given one more data. The crime rates in India in the year 2017 and 2018. So the number of crimes reported in the states, each states. So you see on the right side, starting from Kerala to Sikkim, around 27 states. So they have given a number of crimes registered per 1 lakh people. So you see the Kerala was the number one, and the Kerala was highest crimes and Sikkim was lowest crime. So when you see the data, you assume like that, right? Kerala was the highest crime and Sikkim was very lowest crime. But you see the Uttar Pradesh, it is only 96 cases per 1 lakh population. So don't fall into this kind of data. Okay. So Kerala, the number of rates, crime rates is higher, means people, they go and register. They are very awake. They aware of the law, so they go and register. But in Uttar Pradesh, the people are so ignorant, they don't want to register their cases. So that's why the crime rate is very, very low. It shows that it is low in Uttar Pradesh, but it's not the actual scenario. The crime rates are higher there, but they're very afraid to go and register the case. Okay. So that is the thing I just want to show you in this picture. So Tamil Nadu occupies the third position and registering the crimes. Before that, Madhya Pradesh is there. So why I am showing all these data means, before you go into the actual course, you have to know what is crime, what is the crime rates are happening in India. I don't want to give the global data because it's huge, which it is difficult to digest. So that's why I took only in India. I gave a glimpse, right? So I remember the quote from Mahatma Gandhi: 1,000 criminals can be escaped, but not a single innocent person should be punished. Using our law system, right, our justice system, 1,000 criminals can be escaped. That's okay, that is allowed. But a single innocent person shouldn't be punished. That is very, very important. That is the goal of our law. That is the basis of our justice system. Okay, so here comes the actual thing. So do you assume a police alone can solve all these cases, like 25,000 or 50,000 cases that register every year? Police alone can solve this problem? No, not at all. So there comes saviors or angels to solve about 70% of the cases. They are forensic department. Without forensics department in recent times, you cannot solve a single case. Okay. So first we'll see what is forensic science. So forensic science is nothing but the use of science and technology to solve or enforce the civil and criminal laws. So So especially use of science and technology to solve the civil and criminal cases. That is the definition for forensic science. So what is their goal, the forensic science goal? Okay, I have given a few lists. So a suspect is who is suspected to be a criminal to a crime scene. A suspect to a crime scene. The crime scene means where a crime is occurred. Okay. So a victim to a crime scene. A victim is who was related to the crime scene, who was the victim. Okay. And a crime scene to a crime scene. For example, if a crime scene is already established, a similar kind of crime scene was observed in some other place, you have to relate to it. Okay, that is a crime scene to a crime scene. A victim to a suspect. This is very, very important, right? A victim need to be connected to a suspect. The suspect must have a motive to harm the victim, right? And sometimes it reverts a suspect to a victim. So these are the main goal of the forensic science. I hope you have seen in many crime thriller movies when a crime scene is observed, immediately the police will come in a siren, wah wah wah, like that, and they will put a tape, crime scene, don't enter, nobody will, the cops won't allow anybody inside the crime scene because they will disturb the crime scene. Okay, immediately they started take a note, and after that they will ask an important question: did you inform the forensic people? A cop will have a first observation, then he will ask an immediate question whether people inform the forensic department. So when the forensic department come and observe the crime scene, and after they finished, then only they will clear the victim, either it may be a murder or whatever it is. So they will clear the case. Unless otherwise the forensic people didn't take their observation, didn't look their observation, didn't finish their observation, so the crime scene wouldn't be, crime place wouldn't be evacuated. So that is the main important question when the cop asks. Okay, so when the forensic person came and looked the crime scene, immediately he thinks in his mind like what kind of scientific or biological evidence is there to solve the case, to help the police, right? So that thing will be going on in his mind. So what kind of things he can find it out. So I have given a list of items the forensic people look. Okay, so these are the whole list of items they actually look. Either it may be a blood, definitely if it is a murder, blood will be there. A semen, if it is a rape, the semen will be there. Drugs or chemicals. Soil, sometimes the soil, if you wear a shoe, if you move from one place to other place, if you take some soil and if you left it there during some tug of war between the victim and suspect, some tug of war happened, soil sample was spilled there, not the soils are same from one place to other, they are completely different. So the soil is also one of the important physical evidence. Some imprints and hair is also very, very important. So the fibers from your cloth, that is also evidence. Body or corpse, of course. A bullet or casing, in case of shooting is occurred, they will find out the bullet. They will check what kind of pistol they use, what kind of bullet it is, and the casing. Based on the casing, also they reversibly they find out what kind of revolver they use, what kind of gun they use, and DNA, shoe prints. Sometimes this shoe prints also very, very important. Like the size of the shoe, the marking of the shoe, that is also important. Sometimes short buttons, that also kind of a physical evidence. And broken glass, sorry, the imprint was repeated twice, sorry. So paint chips, any documents. Another important thing is the fingerprints. Yes, fingerprints are another important thing. For certain era, the forensic people rely only on fingerprints. So you know very well the fingerprints are completely different from one person to other person. So based on the fingerprints, they identify the criminals. And other prints like shoe, tire markings, if they suspect if the criminal used any car or van or lorry, so their tire markings also, they use that as a physical evidence. Any tool marks or firearms which marked around the crime scene, that is also very important. In recent times, these bite marks, if a rape happened, these bite marks also play a very important role. In the Nirbhaya case, they used these bite marks to solve the case. So I will come to that part later. That is called as odontology. So it's very recent times this method is evolved, because not all the tooth arrangements are same per all the people. It is different from one people to other people. So we will discuss about the odontology alone in one course in the later session. What are their philosophy of forensics? The key to criminalistics is the ability to think clearly when faced with a daunting confusion of the average crime scene. The crime scene is very average, but they have to be very clear. One must rely on is experience, intuition and objective reasoning. This is their philosophy. Okay, what is a forensic scientist? What he does? So that is the thing we're going to see. So forensic science draws on many sciences to reconstruct the who, what, where, when and how of the events using the tools of science and logic of scientific inquiry. So for example, to be a good forensic scientist, you must be a good scientist first. Okay, so let us discuss what is good science, what is bad science or pseudoscience. Okay, so a good science versus a pseudoscience or a bad science. So what you're going to do with your good science in terms of forensic means you help the police to find out a right convict to send him to a prison. Okay, and the pseudoscience, due to your bad science, you let a criminal to escape or send a wrong person to a prison. If you do a small mistake, that will make a wrong person to be punished. Okay, so you have to be very clear with this. You have to be very good scientist, then only you can be a forensic scientist. So what is good scientist? The good science. So generally a good science is referred as it is transparent. Okay, you find out something, you invented something and you say, oh, I'm not going to show it to anyone, I'm going to keep it with myself, I'm not going to show it to anyone. That is not a good science. So your results are published and available for scrutiny. It should be open, so anyone can come and comment and check, question about your results, right? That is called a peer review system. Your hypothesis, logical answer based on the facts. You shouldn't give like random numbers. So it should be on facts. A test hypothesis using experiments. You have to use the right experiment to test your hypothesis. Use proper controls. Okay, control is also very important to verify your data. Use empirical data and interprets data correctly. You have to interpret the data perfectly. And based on your initial data, you have to revise your hypothesis, experiment and theorizes when new data requires. Okay, and remain objective throughout the process, right? So without ego or attachment or a particular outcome, you shouldn't have like any ego or any attachment to a particular thing. You should be completely unbiased, without personal opinion or belief or internal influence. You have to be on science side every time. You shouldn't put your personal influence to personal belief or something into influence your data without an agenda. So without an agenda means you shouldn't predetermine. So without any agenda, so there shouldn't be an agenda like you predetermine he is going to be the criminal, so I'm going to make up all the results against him, so I'm going to show the results all against to the one particular suspect. So there shouldn't be any agenda. That is good signs. Okay, or predetermined results, like this is the result I'm going to get, so this is the conclusion I'm going to get, so I'm going to make all the results based on my conclusion. It shouldn't be there. That is without agenda. So what is an pseudoscience or a bad science? So body of knowledge, methodology, belief or practice that is claimed to be a scientific or made to appear scientific. That is very key here. It may be a scientific, but made to appear like scientific, but doesn't adhere to the scientific method, lacks of supporting evidence or plausibility or otherwise lack of scientific status. So all collectively what they say means, say you want to isolate a DNA means, so your method shouldn't be like isolating RNA, and you believe that you isolated RNA, right? So it cannot be tested. So whatever you made in method shouldn't be tested. It cannot be externally verified. So a good science means anybody, any place, they can verify, they can get the similar kind of results. That is a good science. A pseudoscience means it cannot be reproducible. So as an agenda, it's like you predetermine. This is, as I mentioned earlier in the good science, you have an agenda. Based on the agenda, you make results. That is pseudoscience. Okay. So now you understood what is good science, what is bad science. So these whole branches fall under forensic science. It's like you use chemistry, biology, physics, anthropology, engineering, toxicology, psychiatry, entomology, odontology. Odontology I told you already, right? Computer, digital and pathology. All these branches collectively fall under forensic science. Okay. So what are the functions of a forensic scientist? So the function of a forensic scientist is to analyze the physical evidence. So you should have a degree, a BSc in science. So follow an established scientific protocol. Okay, so you can modify it by in a good way. Techniques must rest in firm scientific ground. Technique must also satisfy the criteria to the court. You have to prove it in the court, right? You have to provide an expert testimony. So you are the person who need to write the testimony, the outcome of the result. So expert status determined by the court. Explain scientific data and conclusions clearly, concisely and logically to a non-scientist. The judge is a non-scientist. You have to explain to him clearly what is your conclusion. So remain impartial. It is like you have to be unbiased. You shouldn't fall on one side. So in some labs, forensic scientists will also train crime scene personnel. So studying the crime scene is very, very important. You've seen in the previous slides to find out all those objects. If you fail to notice those objects in the crime scene, it is very difficult to solve the case. So I listed out what are the things that a forensic scientist doesn't do. So he's not a cop, so you don't go and arrest suspects, chase the suspects as you've seen in many movies. So you will quietly sit in the lab and you analyze the things, whatever the samples he got, he start analyze. We don't tackle any suspect, you don't interrogate any suspects. So all these things he don't do. Okay. So he solve the case alone. He won't solve the case alone. He cooperate with the cops, the police, and try to solve the case. So okay, we came to an end part of today's video. So I'm going to give you a simple case. We'll try to solve this. So what happened was, one day in the morning, police station received a call from a man. He said a robbery happened in his neighbor's house. So in that house nobody was there. So that's why he called. and he gave the address. So the police went to the house. So when the police reached the house, they found the house when the front door was broken. So the front door was broken and they entered through the front door. Inside the house was completely shattered, like all the goods, all the things were shattered here and there, and the clothes were found all over the room. So probably they checked the locker where it was. That's why all the clothes were here and there. In the same room, a locker, the police found a locker was there and it was open. So inside, all the money and jewels were robbed. So they took all the jewels and money which is there inside the locker. So after he inspected everything inside, so he came out to the hall. So in the hall, he found the fridge was open. The fridge door was still open, and in the nearby table, he found one juice bottle with the 2 glass was found empty, but the traces of juice was there. Okay. So this is the crime scene, the police observed. Now you are the forensic science fellow. Okay, assume you are a forensic science scientist. So you came and studied the crime scene. This is the crime scene. You didn't find anything else. So what is your idea to solve this case? So how you will solve this case? These are the clues are there. I gave all the details. The clues are there within this story. So you find out your own way to solve this case and you send it to me. What is your idea how you will solve this case to my mail? Either you write it down how you solve this case, or you record your voice, or make a video how you will solve this case and send it to my email. Okay, so I just use these links and this book for my reference. If you want, I will give you that book. It's an e-copy book. So it's an e-book. I will share with you. So thank you so much. We will meet in the next class. The history of forensic science. How the forensic science were evolved for a long period. Thank you so much.